You're listening to the Mopcast Network.
Welcome to My Star Wars Life, a look at news, reviews, and other happenings from a galaxy far, far away. Here are your hosts, Scotty and JD.
Same here.
And ER, funny enough.
I still can't do ER.
We actually accidentally caught it from the first episode when it ran on Sunday nights, and we watched it for like 2 years.
Wow, that's impressive.
It's a Sunday night.
There's people
thing.
that way with Grays.
I mean,
Not the alien kind. Alien love. What you talking about?
Alien love. Welcome to My Star Wars Life. That was too loud. I think that's too loud for the show. It's more like, welcome to My Star Wars Life. I get too many shows and so many intros. Got too many. I'm your Native American pop culture spirit guide, Scotty, and I'm joined by my co-host, the man who puts men into Mandos.
It's good enough. I put men into Mandos. Yeah, we're JD-less. Yeah, I put Mentos into men. Oh, wait.
He puts Mentos into Diet Coke and watches explode.
That's what I do.
We are JD-less because JD has been affected by the coronavirus.
Yep.
And so he is stuck in China. True story. He's in China right now and quarantined.
Yep.
Or he's got the regular flu and we don't want it, so we kicked him out.
Either way, he's not coming.
He's not coming. So we hope you feel better, JD.
May the flu force be with you.
May the flu force be with you.
Always.
We have a lot to talk about. There's some interesting things going on, but I first want to talk about Rebels.
Yes, of course, always.
Because it's my favorite jam. So here's the latest rumor.
Oh, no.
In October on Disney Plus, we get Mandalorian Season 2.
That is correct.
In November on Disney Plus, we get Rebels Volume 2.
Oh, fascinating.
Whatever it's going to be called. It's not going to be called Rebels, but it's
but it's the same characters.
It's the Rebel spinoff, and it's a spinoff, I think, in this in the
animated?
Yeah, it's animated.
Yeah,
it's animated. It's focused around Ahsoka and Sabine.
Yeah, which gives me instant gooses.
So there, it happens in the same. It's supposed to happen in the same time frame as The Mandalorian.
Fascinating.
So it's that 5-year gap we've had.
Fascinating.
So not too far in the future, and so it looks like, according to the rumors, that if it's coming out in November, most of first season's already underway in production or way beyond production.
Right.
So.
Yeah, especially for animation, it takes a little time.
That
is delightful good news.
I expect to see, if this is true, I expect to see a trailer or teaser in May.
Yes, of course.
Probably for Star Wars Day.
Yep.
I have no proof of this. I'm just speculating. This is Scotty just speculating. I think May sounds right.
Yeah.
We'll definitely see some footage or full trailer at Celebration.
Absolutely, and it'll be a closed. Unfortunately, I think it's going to be a closed. The Celebration will be closed.
What do you
I
mean
think it'll be audience only.
Oh, they'll release a trailer. They'll probably show you the first episode, but they'll.
Yeah. I just think there's going to be some limitation on it. Because I think what they're going to do marketing wise is sit on Mando a lot more.
We should go and just stay with Horst.
No joke. Not a bad idea.
That's a great idea.
Horst, we're coming.
Horst, we're coming. We're gonna
actually, who cares about Kate? Dear Kate, we're coming.
Kate, we're coming.
Prepare yourself. She's actually chill. She'd be like, yeah, that's fine. Here's a tent. You guys are living in the backyard.
I would tell you.
In Death Valley? Yes. Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Let's pretend like we're on Tatooine. It'd be great.
Dear God. What are you guys doing? Oh, moisture farm. Scotty, pee in this bucket, see if it'll turn to water. If you let it evaporate correctly, it will.
Well, wait a minute. We already have the water if I've peed in it.
No. If you pee into a bucket and put a lid over it, the bad part evaporates, and you basically make a thing where you collect water. You collect the water from the pee. Survivor Man. I watched way too much of this crap. I don't know. I just made that up. Maybe. Nobody tried that at home. I drink my own urine from listening to my Star Wars Life podcast.
I mean, I watched the dude do it on Waterworld.
Yeah, that's right. That's how you do it.
And my first thought was how long he's been drinking that glass of water.
Yeah. Tastes like pickle juice. Oh, it's just terrible.
It looked clean. It looked clear.
Clear enough.
Clear enough.
Clearer than you are.
Perrier.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm excited about the Rebels thing. The big
the big news for me in terms of a lot of this is, it's part of my rant, if you will, for that section. I can save it off, but it's really fascinating to me that well, I'm just going to go down the path. So
the path, the dark side.
Yeah, I mean, I might as well do it. It's kind of this fandom free zone moment here. It's kind of fascinating to me. If you look at Star Wars, the current state of it that it's in, anytime they've tried to do anything where they bring back an original character in any capacity, it gets mucked up. It doesn't. I'm not saying it's bad. It just gets mucked up. Solo got a little mucked up, right? I enjoyed the movie, but it got mucked up. It's not people's favorite. It's become a little more popular. You look at. I
think history will judge Solo better than it is now.
Of course, but you look at what's happened with Obi-Wan. The show has gotten mucked up. Right? There's clearly issues with it. You look at the new trilogy, right? It started out pretty well. It's going to be a story about a girl named Rey and a boy named Finn. They go on a space adventure, and we're going to bring one character back. But then when you suddenly bring them all back, people's rage wasn't about Rey and Finn. Most of the people that complain and get frustrated because of what they've done to the, quote, original characters.
Right.
Here's my point. Rebels is fantastic because it's not, if they bring original character in, it's a cameo, which is what the new movie should have been, which is everything. Star Wars should be original IP from this point.
Right.
Stop rehashing. The same point about the prequels. No one liked the prequels because there's a rehash of characters we already have, right? We don't care.
Right.
Show us new. Mandalorian works.
Right.
Resistance is their biggest failure, in my opinion. I don't know. My kids don't care for it, so I can't judge it on the kids scale. Just as a Star Wars fan, I don't get it, so it's just not for me. Right?
I'm not sure about Resistance. I watched first season.
Yeah.
And I've watched some of second. And the reason why I would have watched all of second, but the Disney Now app.
Yeah, they killed it, right?
No, it works. It just doesn't always work for me. Like, I'll start an episode and just the buffering is so slow, and I can't watch it. There are really good episodes. I like more of the peripheral characters than the main. I don't like Kaz, the goofball.
Yeah.
Like, when we met Ezra Bridger is basic. And trust me, when we do this, start doing the Rebellion recap, this will get tossed down all right. But he's Space Aladdin. First season,
100%. 100%.
I mean,
I was annoyed by it.
When I first saw Rebels, I was like, I don't think I'm going to like this. And I was like, what jump from the red line? Bubba.
Yeah.
And so, and then he becomes awesome. I mean, Ezra, and we get to follow that progression. I think it's something they wanted to do with Ahsoka, and when we first meet Ahsoka, she's very annoying.
Oh, she's terrible.
And then
she's a terrible character.
And then she becomes amazing toward the end of it. They
phenomenal.
And so, I think they, with a shorter time frame, they understood that we're going to give you this annoying kid, turn him into a badass Jedi.
Yeah.
And so just follow this journey. I mean, to me, Ezra is better than Luke. Like when we first meet Luke, Luke's kind of whiny, but he's all gung ho. Ezra's like, I got stuff to do. I don't need you, and kind of gets roped into it.
But that's my point. These are original characters, right?
Right, exactly.
So past the original trilogy, anything from the original story of Star Wars, anything they've done, even Rogue One is a spinoff of new characters, right? These are all created characters. I think that's what Disney needs to focus more in on, and we need to let go, not to just paraphrase the movie doesn't exist, let the past die, and let's move to the future. If we want to relive the past, let's do it in comic books. I think that's great. In books, but not on live action, not on cartoons.
So can I put a monkey wrench in that?
Sure.
Clone Wars.
Okay, so I'm with you on the Anakin part. That defeats me a little bit there, right?
Well, Anakin and Obi-Wan.
But there's so much more context out of that. We gain Ahsoka out of that. It becomes an original story.
Right, but it's still at its core. It's still the story of Obi-Wan and Anakin. So Clone Wars doesn't become Ahsoka's story.
But I think there's flaws with Clone Wars. There's some terrible. You haven't watched the whole season yet.
No,
right?
I haven't. But I mean, look, it's not my favorite, but it's a lot of people's favorite.
I get it.
But
a lot of people like the prequels now.
But because those kids are growing up and who's with it, so
that's right. It's a nostalgia factor.
Right,
I'm removing that away. I'm just saying going forward,
right? And
because they're going to close out the Clone Wars, we need to finish that story arc. I get it.
Next week,
yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited,
and I'm sure we'll talk about that here.
We'll talk about the next episode. Yeah.
So we're going to close that out. But once that's done, my point is, I think they should stop trying to go back and let's just go forward. If you're going to go back, the way back is fine. But even then, I think it's better to have new character stories.
Right.
Let's branch out and to do that kind of stuff.
Because if we don't do new character stories, we've seen what happens if we're going backwards,
it's the same annoyance I have not comparing it over. We just talk about it off the air right before the show. It's Picard.
Right.
Like, I haven't watched it yet, so I can't judge it. There's some cool notes, but I kind of wish it was, I want new Star Trek.
Right.
I like finding a new place. Take those great ideas that are in a show and add them to something new. That's why the Mando is so good to me. Right. It's new. Right. It feels new.
Right.
And you're okay to have different. It's actually, to me, in this political world we live in, it's more of a celebration of being different by having new content than the old. Because the old, we have restrictions from what it was. We established this pretense, and then you have to change the pretense, and people get upset. And you create it new. That's the pretense. You just said it, right?
So, I think what makes the Mando work, and Rebels work, and Clone Wars work, is because we have the patron saint Dave Filoni.
Yeah, of course. I mean, everything comes back to Filoni.
But Filoni as a storyteller is real big on earning things. So what's great about The Mandalorian is that out of 8 episodes, the closest we got to I know that character moment was IG-11.
That's right.
Who was not IG-88.
That's right.
He was IG-11. So he was a new character with the same design, but we had a familiar design.
Yeah.
And they gave us that at the beginning, but it was a new character.
Yep.
So we don't have those moments of, oh look, it's they're on a planet. It's like, oh look, it's a young Poe Dameron running around with Jason Sindula. What?
Right.
That's got to happen. But but we don't have that because it doesn't need it, and it's it would have seen faults to put it in there.
Yeah.
So it wasn't earned. In Rebels, when we got to cameo moments, and I'm not going to call Ahsoka a cameo because she's especially. She's more of a reoccurring guest star anyway.
Yeah, she is.
But like when Lando shows up or Leia shows up,
yep.
Lando
shows great little pockets of scenes.
Right,
there.
it's something we're familiar with, but they gave it a complete story and they moved on and then dwell on it.
Yeah,
and so, and the ones that did show up and stick around were people who were on the periphery anyway. So we got Mon Mothma.
Yep.
We got General Dodonna, and Vader
sub-characters.
Yeah. Vader showed up for a little while,
but you get a kiss of that. You're in and out.
And same way with the Emperor. We get a little bit, especially at the finale. And then the bigger stuff they brought up was Thrawn, which was perfect, but it was earned.
But Thrawn becomes a new character, right? Again, original for a lot of people that never read the books.
Right.
He's IP. He's new IP.
Right. And again, earned.
Yeah.
Earned.
No, I'm with you. And that's maybe my point. Maybe that's the best way to say it, is what we need is to continue to earn our characters, earn our love of it, instead of going back. We already love Obi-Wan. I got it.
Right.
We love him. He's cool as shit, man. I got it. But I don't, he doesn't need to earn it. I'd rather someone new earn my attention and love. Right. And I'm just using that as a reference because I have a feeling they're going to keep doing this. I think Star Wars is about to go down a path, because studios are running it this way, where they're going to go down the path of rehashing IP as opposed to, guys, you're sitting on gold.
And they're desperate, and you know that Disney's desperate looking for stuff. If they look at the success of The Mandalorian, it's like, what's our next Mandalorian? Is it Obi-Wan? I'm not. They're like, well, that's something we can quickly push out.
I think they're saying no. I think that's what they're running into. And I think, so, and that was a question I was going to throw out. I had one I wanted to throw out. Live action only, because I know what you'd say if it was including animation. Live action only. Whether it's a movie or a series, but they have to exist in live action. Okay. Which character would you like to see a spin-off story about?
Oh, that's good.
And I have 2 I'd like to throw into the mix whenever you're ready.
I would love to see something around Jabba.
Okay, this is weird. This is why you and I are pals. So mine wasn't Jabba. Mine's Bib Fortuna.
Right.
Same thing. I want to know how he got there. I'll even take a prequel story. I'm okay with it because he's dead now, right? But I'd love that.
I would do.
Think how cool that series would be if it's Jabba's story, but yeah.
So since we're doing 2, so my first one would be Jabba. I would do the Godfather with Jabba.
I'm all in. 100%. Bib Fortuna's on my list.
Right, and so
100%.
Because it gives you so much to work with.
Yep.
You get all these kind of characters that had 4 seconds of screen time that who look interesting, like Bain Malar, who I love.
That's what I'm saying.
And you just you throw.
Now, and it's not digging into the past, right? Because we haven't earned these characters yet. This goes back to the point. Right. Okay, so that's Jabba is fantastic.
Yeah, Jabba's number. I would love to see Lando Calrissian.
God bless. I have gooses. Wait till you hear what I'm going to say.
I would love to see Lando.
This is not planned. Any of this.
I would love to see Lando prior to getting Cloud City and getting Cloud City, and in the show when he loses Cloud City.
Love it. Mine is Nia Nub. How weird is that?
Nine
Nub, whatever. I think that the Sullustan story is fascinating. A little bit of their history and all that. I think because don't they have like a massive? They get totally controlled by the Empire, if I'm not mistaken.
Most of those planets
is that Legends or canon now? I don't know.
It's Legends.
Yeah. Okay. That backstory is fascinating to me, because he's lived.
Right.
We get him. We know he's the guy that's going to make it, but it's a cool story to take an alien. And again, I think that's more inclusive. So suddenly we're including a whole lot of different people into one situation.
Right.
And Lando can come through. I don't care, but mine was finding these sub characters and giving me that story. Like if it's Jabba's story, but it's through the eyes of Bib Fortuna. Like, that's crazy to me. So you're learning about Jabba. He's the Godfather, but we're seeing it always from his right-hand man, and you kind of see how he got into this position. And I don't know. That's interesting to me. And it's a possibility for that kind of stuff to exist. That's what I would throw out there. I think it's a great question for the audience. If anyone has an opinion, who would your character be? Throw it in the Facebook thing that we do, whatever. What show? It has to be live action. It has to be a character from that.
I would love to do Lando as you can run it 3 seasons, really.
Oh, 100%.
And do everything that he.
So it leads up to Cloud City.
Right. I would end it with him sitting with some woman, drinking whatever, and he gets a call from Lord Vader.
Yep.
That he's coming.
Yep.
And then credits. And because we know what happens. We don't need to see the rest of it.
Yep.
But, just how we got there, him and Lobot, and because him and Lobot in canon are go back way back.
Yeah.
And so, and plus, again, there's all these little side characters. Like, I mean, you could really put like Wilro Hood as a character, and you make the running of the hoods making a thing.
That's it. That's totally it.
Enter entree.
Oh yeah, we forgot it.
I forgot it. You can flip it on.
I was going to see if you opened the box of Star Wars.
They're right there, long box, on the desk. Our friend Bubba came in, and so my brother Paul gave me a box of Decipher Star Wars CCG cards.
Oh, nice.
And I was going through it. I was going to try to build a couple of decks. My problem with it is I've got some awesome light side characters. I don't have enough dark side characters to make it worth. I have like Obi-Wans and Luke's with sabers and stuff. And then I've got Admiral Pied who would just get chopped up.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So I got to go find some Vaders and stuff to go put it so I can make some stuff in there.
That's fun.
But yeah, so it's the best card game ever.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Anyway, so I would do Lando prior to Cloud City and after Cloud City. I think that would be awesome.
Yes, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the kind of stuff that I find fascinating right now to at least have a conversation about. So again, it'll be in the post. If you have a thought when this episode drops, you can go back to the post, or maybe Scott will make. I don't know how you're going to handle that, but I think it's kind of fun. If you have an idea on it, if anybody out there has a character, I think those are fun to read.
We'll put it in a discussion.
We'll probably have to get JD in the mix at some point and get his opinion on it. I'm sure he'll come up with some random son of a gun from some space truck.
He'd be some pilot. Wedge. He'd probably do Wedge and Heartbeat. Wedge would be his.
Oh, Wedge. Yeah, I'm going to say that. Yeah,
I would say Wedge. I would say Wedge.
Yeah.
Okay, so just back to my Lando show that I want to make. I'm pitching this Lucasfilm. You need this. You need me to do this. Steph just walked in, and then Steph joined us.
Hi.
You got roped in.
You just got roped in. How's that?
I have no idea what's going on.
Welcome to my Star Wars life.
Oh, okay. Which podcast am I on now?
Okay, so since we have a third person, we can ask.
Sure.
So, Drew, you just asked questions. I'll let you do it again.
So the question was, so live action only, because just Scotty and I watch Rebels and all that stuff, right? So from Star Wars live action, any of the films where someone has been not Mando, has to be on screen, film screen.
Okay.
A character who you'd love to see a story about that we don't know. And the point of it was
who would you like to give them a TV show?
Ideas was Jabba the Hutt.
Darth Maul.
Oh, that was easy.
Maul.
But we kind of have Maul. We kind of have Maul. Yeah, a little bit from Clone Wars. Because your point is valid, but we have enough back on the background.
I'm talking about like his own show. Okay, so not okay.
No, I like Maul because here's the thing about Maul that we don't know is Maul's jump from his escape from Clone Wars when he escaped Palpatine. I mean,
That's true.
There's a graphic novel that's in canon that Dark Horse did that shows the escape. Well, they could film that.
Yeah.
And then his rise to Crimson Dawn.
That's okay. That fair point.
See?
Yeah, I'm with you.
So you cross over with my Java show. That's what you make. That's the Godfather.
Actually, just let me do that and put Bib Fortuna as the center of these two stories, and then I'm good. That's a random character.
What I would like to see, and I'm sure my opinion is very unpopular. You see this world based on these rebels and trying to defeat this what they call an evil empire, but I would like to see a story told from the Empire point of view.
Oh, I love
more
it.
from that.
Absolutely.
Because I've always been pro Empire.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yeah.
I like the Empire, so I want to see it.
So
I would like to
maybe
see something from that
what
side.
about Admiral Piet makes it all the way through, doesn't he?
well, until Jedi, yeah.
Well, who's the guy that made it all the way through? I'm sorry, Piet made it. Who makes it all the way through into the Skywalker trilogy, the last one? Like, there's one. I thought one admiral made it all the way
Yeah,
through.
but he that was a new admiral.
No. There's one other. I thought there was a guy.
Not that I know of.
Oh, for some reason I
Because
thought
Piet
someone
dies
made-
on the Executor when it crashes,
in the
Death
other
Star.
one.
Yeah.
But that's a good point of view. I would love to take one of those officers that we've seen
Right.
that's been in all three original movies, for example, and give their perspective. Why not?
Right,
I
'cause
wouldn't argue.
you're
I think
these
it's a great idea.
military guys, they're following orders, and they're constantly having to deal with these terrorists.
No, it's
and
interesting.
terror attacks all the time.
That's an interesting perspective. I'd be all into that. Love it.
I'm into it too. I would.
It's the kind of stuff Star Wars actually needs, to be honest
I
with you.
would. Veers would be fun to do that with.
Oh, don't get Veer Watch. If you're out there, add Veer Watch. Do you know this guy? This guy on Twitter? That's all he does.
Oh,
Is
really?
when the actor who plays Admiral General Veer shows
Julian-
up,
Julian
he has an
Glover.
entire Twitter feed dedicated to nothing but Veer Watch. And
Oh,
it's
that's
all about
awesome.
when he shows up. That's all he cares about.
Come join us.
We've got suckered into my Star Wars life.
I've been here for.
My intentions were to come in and see if you were here, and then go next door and get liquor. And here I am doing a podcast.
You
Did you not see
can.
me when you walked in?
No.
We were sitting there and like we saw you walk by and went.
Don't
"Oh,
you
there's
think I would have
Stephanie."
said hello?
Yeah, I thought so. They were like, did she not see us? I said, Probably not.
You know,
For those who don't listen to the show, Justina just popped in.
Oh yeah, hey, Uncle Jester, how's it going? I'm here.
Which means now you have to stay for Cult Movie.
Great.
It's just a meeting, so
it's just a cult meeting. Yeah.
So which is good because we can talk about whatever, but we'll do that one.
about whatever.
Random stuff, just a random.
So
Always.
we'll ask you the question, which will be interesting.
Oh, this will be great because it's a Star Wars life.
Yeah. I want to see this.
So of all the characters that are, you know what?
No, do the whole.
Any
do the-
character anywhere in Star
No,
Wars.
no. This is great. This is great.
Make her do it.
I love this so much.
But
This is my new favorite game.
but not one of the main characters. Just pick a Star Wars character that you would like to you would watch a series about, like a story about.
But not
Jar
a main
Jar.
character, and it has to be one
I'm
of the
sorry?
movies.
Is it Jar Jar? Jar Jar? Jar Jar?
Jar Jar, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you have to leave now.
I don't know side characters. That's the only one that sticks
The
out.
only one that sticks out to you is Jar Jar. Out of all Star Wars live, the entire universe,
I know the main people, kind of.
name two main people.
Obi-Wan,
Okay.
Princess Leia.
There you go.
She did. name
That was
two.
two.
She named two.
She
I was
did.
trying to think of the other mentor at the beginning, though. I always think of Quagmire, but that is not his name.
Giggity, giggity. All right, my lightsaber. I mean, it's just terrible. You're terrible.
I know that's not what it is, but it's close to that. Like it sounds.
Obi-Wan, Princess Leia, and Quagmire.
No, I thought it still wasn't Quagmire.
Qui-Gon Jinn.
It's close.
You're right.
Thank
You're right.
you.
You're right.
I
You're
love
right.
it.
Call him
And
Jin for short.
you know, and she's talking about these characters who I kind of just written off because they're in the movies that I watch because I had to because they're Star Wars, but they're not my Star Wars.
Oh,
Yeah.
Darth Vader's one too. Could've started
I do
with
love
him.
some Darth Vader.
Yeah, but we get Darth Vader's story.
That's the movies, but
The movies is Darth Vader's story.
I was
Oh
making it easy.
no! He's not a side person. I just meant like for the two people
Right.
I had a name. To
Oh
prove that
yeah,
I know
sure.
People.
I think everybody knows Darth Vader.
Yeah.
He's iconic.
Yeah.
I
so
think
how would you
recognized
do a Jar Jar show?
I wouldn't. it'd be a story. It would be actually wouldn't be.
I mean, that's the
No, I'm in.
problem.
It's gonna be, but it's totally different.
Okay.
Right, live action.
Right.
Of course, but it's actually, what is the actor's name?
Ahmed Best.
It's an actual story about Ahmed Best dealing with the fact that he was Jar Jar, because it's very depressing. He got abused. I mean, it was rough. Like,
was
people were
suicidal,
so mean to
I
him.
would
They destroyed
actually
him.
like to see that, or a documentary about it, because
But I'd make it a
Why
I'd
were
make
they
it a
so
drama
mean to him?
because everybody hates Jar
No
Jar.
one likes Jar Jar.
No one
I
likes
thought he
Jar
was a
Jar.
fun character.
He
I thought he was.
Yeah, but see, this is a
Obnoxiously
generational
adorable.
shift,
It
and
is.
it's fascinating. It's okay. It's a
Yeah.
good thing. It's like my kids to have no problem with any of the new movie stuff, right? It's because there's a generational separation that happens from each of the trilogies. So yes, your generation
He
because
was
you're
in
younger
the
than us.
first of the middle ones, right?
No, he's in. Well,
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
going by releasing
Yeah,
one.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
I
Release
had
date.
seen like part of the first one.
Right.
Like when we started, that was the one that I had seen.
Right.
prior. So the first experience I had with Star Wars involved Jar Jar. So he was part of it for me.
Right.
Like the.
So it
beginning.
can only go up from there for you.
I mean, I guess I really like. God,
Every time I blank on a name, I know that everyone's cringing.
No, we can help you. That's what we're
We
here.
actually
Isn't it
enjoy this.
No, it's Chewbacca,
Yeah,
right?
Chewbacca.
What does he look like?
He's covered in hair.
Okay,
Chewbacca.
good enough.
Yeah. Because he's the tall, lovable
Right.
guy that wears like the belt,
Yeah.
but he's an
Chewbacca.
animal.
Right.
Okay, good. Just make sure I got the right person.
Or maybe if she wouldn't have put the tall in, it would have been like, oh, it's an Ewok.
I was gonna say, but there's those little people too, and I don't know if that was offensive to the Ewoks, but there's the Ewoks as well, and I didn't know if I got their names mixed up. Oh my gosh, guys, I was not prepared for Star Wars.
We weren't. Y'all just came in.
Yeah,
We
she
just-
was
there.
so-
I
we
just
could've
walked
got
in
some
and they motioned me over
her first
to the
thing was like,
table.
I don't know what podcast I'm on. I was like, all right, this is what you're doing.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
what
walk
we
in
did.
and say, what are we talking about? You know
Let's
what's
do
going
it.
on.
Throw it down.
No, I'm trying to think about how I would do a Jar Jar show.
We wouldn't.
I would though. I would take the challenge.
Right, it would be the events prior to him getting
How did he get
in that
kicked out of
situation.
Gungan?
Yeah, that's it.
Gunga.
No, see, I'm more interested in about what happens between him afterwards.
Like when he gets power, but he's still
When he's a
kind of
senator.
an idiot.
No, after the Empire rises.
Yeah.
So you know,
Yeah, because Naboo goes back to nothing. We never hear about it again.
right? So does he? Amidala dies. Does he become the senator? Does he get voted out? And then what happens?
Right.
What happens to Jar Jar? And if everyone
Think about it being like
He
if
becomes an alcoholic.
Yeah, if he becomes a senator, he becomes like, think about a much less entertainingly non-serious version of House of Cards that becomes if he is Misa. Can't even do it.
Misa, Yusa thought you weren't going to hear from me.
Yeah, he looks to camera. He talks straight in. Oh
He's got
God, how
he's-
annoying! That makes him worse.
He's got cufflinks that say JP. Oh my god! He's putting them on. He's like, Misa gonna be the president.
It's terrible.
No,
Misa gonna be the chancellor.
and then he does. So which way?
And then he does.
No, so in canon, what happens to Jar Jar is terrible and unfair. I think.
Okay, what happens to him in canon?
In the Aftermath novel series that happens during Force Awakens.
Yep.
It's kind of the bridging the gap between Jedi and Force Awakens. There's a scene where refugees are going to Naboo, and there's a little scene about an old Gungan who goes. He's like a homeless dude who helps entertain children, but most people don't trust him and don't like him because there's a big secret about him. And the big secret is that they all know that he helped the Empire rise.
Right.
Yep.
So he's this Judas figure
It's fascinating.
that has to go from Galaxy, which is not fair.
No.
That's a writer who's like, oh, I don't like Jar Jar. Let's do this to Jar Jar.
Yeah.
And so I would replace that with something. I
But
would.
he did inadvertently help the Empire, help Palpatine rise to power.
But you should like him because of that.
Well, I
He was, in fairness, he was manipulated.
he was, and
Right.
that's my point, though. Is like, how did he get into that position where he could make those kind of mistakes?
because Queen Amidala, Senator Amidala, was negligent on her duties,
Right.
went running off to Naboo with her soon-to-be husband.
I know,
Yep.
but that's what's so sad about it is this guy should have never been put in that position in the first place.
Because episode 2 is when he gets the emergency powers
Yep.
and starts the Clone War.
Have you guys seen Home, the kids movie?
I have not.
You because you have kids.
Yeah,
Have you
I've seen it. Yeah.
I don't
You know
watch
that
kids'
booth that everybody hates?
Yes.
Okay, that's what Jar Jar reminds me of. Like,
Yeah.
he just tries so hard, but does all of these idiotic things and doesn't realize it. And
Right.
is not doing it out of malice. I think that's why I like him. I don't know. Like, he's not intentionally destroying things or messing things up. He's a boof. Like,
Yeah,
just,
he didn't. I mean, it was just. It's a generational shift. It's a mental shift. It's like that's the character that was shoved down our throats, and then
like you guys got him, and you guys were already okay. Counter thoughts.
Sure.
Is it Jar Jar you don't like, or is it because he's a new character in a new movie that came out that was so different from your original movies that you guys had to hate something and everybody just clung to Jar Jar?
It's the character.
because they hate everything about the
One of my
prequels.
favorite Star Wars characters came from the first 3 new movies, or through the
For the first one,
middle
yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
What you consider the middle movies, but
I mean, they're kind of the middle movie.
They are the
right?
middle,
It's hard
yeah.
to say new
Technically
movies 'cause they've
speaking,
started
yeah,
over.
but if you're in
They're the-
story mode, they're the prequels, so
Yeah.
it's a whole separate issue.
so yeah, it's
Who's your favorite character from those?
one of Darth Maul. Love him.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I mean, he's a great character.
Red face.
Red
with
face
the
guy.
two.
Yeah. With it,
Yeah,
yeah.
And the little horns.
Yeah. And then he falls down the hole, but he killed his friend first, Quagmire.
There you go. Star Wars, as told by Justina.
Yep. And here's a recap.
Usually it's a Harry Potter resemblance, so right now it's on.
If we had
Family
we should
Guy.
have a gag where we have Justina write the scrolls for each one of the movies, whatever the pre-scroll is. What happened? Go.
That's what happened. That's what
What was
kind
so
of.
sad when we watched
Galaxy
them
long.
is those would start, and I would zone out so hard, and then the movie would start, and I was like, I have no idea what's happening. And Scotty's like, they just told you, and I was like, I didn't read it again, Scotty. I was staring at the TV, and I didn't read it again.
I don't think she's read
I
a
just
scroll.
zoned
She's just
out
like, oh
every
look,
time.
words. I
Oh,
don't have to-
text. I'm done.
I did well, like I like reading. I just don't. I don't know. Something about it was just like hypnotic, and I zoned out.
This is just a Justina thing that I'll maybe save for off the air.
Okay.
But you can't now because you
Yeah, I
mentioned
know.
it.
It doesn't
I know.
belong on the show.
Okay. In the meeting. Hold up
Maybe.
for the meeting. Okay.
Maybe. I guess see what time it is.
Let's shift focus before we end the show. I have got a hold of the first draft script of Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, yeah,
when it
the
was
Colin
called
Trevorrow.
Well, the Colin Trevorrow when it was called Duel of Fates. It is. I've read it, and it's a first draft, so it's not great.
Yeah.
but it's a first draft, and there's a lot of cool ideas in it. I want to do a live reading.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I want to do a live reading of it.
I wanna
And
be
get a
character.
ginormous cease and desist, but it will do it in the process.
I want to get in on that.
We'll just call it Space Movie 9.
Yeah, that's it.
And so a live reading.
Space Movie 9. I love it.
We'll do a live reading of
Maybe we can tie in the word Jurassic. Jurassic Space Movie 9.
Duel of the Jurassic.
Yeah, something like that.
Two of the Jurassic.
Duel of the Fakes.
Duel of the
Duel of the
Fakes.
Fakes. Love it.
I think that's going to have to happen. Something we're going to have to do because I've read it and there's some interesting things in it, and we've talked about some of them in a previous episode. But Rose is expanded and interesting.
Yeah, she's a real character.
She's a real character.
Right.
Like from the beginning, like the first, it's like for the first like 3 pages.
To stay
Rose
in
is-
some- she's earned.
She's earned.
Yeah, we earned her
She
affection.
earned her
Yeah.
effect, and the Fin Force sensitive thing is not as goofy. Ray is real angry in it though. She is like,
Is that chick that came
Kinda
from one
like me
movie and then
without
you never saw
coffee.
her again?
Yes.
Was Ray the one that came from that
No.
one movie and then?
No,
Like
Ray
she
is
had
the main character
In the new
last
ones.
3 movies.
Okay. Who was that one chick that came for that one movie that we had seen together? It was like, I'm
You
not even
talking
gonna
about
try.
Rogue One.
Yes.
She's
I
dead.
knew it
She's
was an
dead.
R.
Yeah.
Okay. 'Cause like
She
you
died
start
in
to
Rogue
like
One.
her and
she
then
she blew up at the end.
Oh, that's right.
they blew it
Never
up. They
mind.
all blew it up at the end. They blew it up
I
good.
remember that because I was frustrated. I was like, "What is the point of this movie?" Like we had already
See, I
watched
have the
this
same
other
kind of
one.
attitude. I don't like movies that end that way. I'm like, well, why did I watch
See, I'm
this?
watching this whole
Loved that
series,
movie
and then this movie popped, but I'm watching them in order.
Well, but because
then
that
they're
movie
just all
kind
gone.
of tied in 2 other movies.
No, we
Is
never made
what?
it that far.
Yeah.
Well,
So I didn't
we
get
gotta
the
finish it.
tie-ins.
We gotta finish it up.
So to me, it was like I'm trying to learn all these people because there's a lot. There's a lot of people.
It's like
And
Harry
I'm trying
Potter.
to keep up, trying so hard, and then this movie pops up, and I'm like, oh, I really like her, and then everybody dies at the end. I was like, Why, Scotty? Why do we do that?
Maybe you should read all the books, the Star Wars books.
You know what's funny about that?
And
is
then
every
watch the
one of
movies.
I have the Princess Bride book now, by the way. Is every time we do a movie, I end up getting the book for it.
You didn't get the book
Don't
because
get
I have one.
started with Star Wars. There's a lot. I mean, do eventually.
Are they comics?
There's a
No,
lot.
Or are they
they're
books?
They're books.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Just get the novelizations.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, just get the
read the novelizations, then watch the movies, and it might be a better experience for you. Because that's how you did Harry Potter,
I
right?
forgot about that. Yeah.
Yes.
You did not watch the Harry Potter movies and then go read the books. You
No.
read all the books first. I
Right.
think that's your thing. You should read the books, then watch the movies. I think Star Wars will be way better for you.
Okay, so
I
the
think
next
so. That's a good
is there a
idea.
book for They Live?
Not for
No.
Rogue One.
No.
Rogue One.
No, I'm talking about for our next movie.
No.
Okay.
No,
Oh,
just
for They
watch it.
Live.
It's
Yeah.
good.
He got me a copy, so I'll watch it.
I haven't
No,
seen
straight up,
yet.
it is a
I'm hoping it's
fantastic movie.
streaming.
Yeah, you can get it streaming.
So, yeah, there's a whole lot to talk about on that.
Yeah, we'll
That
talk about the
movie's
next
gold.
one. But so I want to do a live reading of the Trevor script.
You could even do it in parts.
Yeah,
That'd be great.
We'll have to do it in parts, but we may get you guys to come help out for
I
that.
would like to do someone that everybody knows and then read it my own way.
I think everyone can read it their own way. I think.
But it would
dear
definitely
God.
be my own way because I would not know that character.
I want to be Angry Ray.
Okay, so Stephanie's gonna be Ray.
like adolescence, angry.
No,
We'll
like
get
just
JD. We'll get
angry.
JD coming to be Poe because I know he'll want to
Yeah,
read
he
Poe
needs
for
to be
Poe.
Poe.
Who you want to be?
BB-8.
Do they?
He doesn't
is
get
it-
lines.
I was gonna say that's all the sounds, right?
Right.
Beep boop.
So he did well.
I think she should be Palpatine.
Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
That's the old guy.
He's not
right?
in it though, right?
Yeah, he is a
That's
little
the
bit.
old guy
No.
that shrivels up. That everybody
Yeah,
likes.
yeah.
Beginning,
He shrivels up. He's a
becomes the Sith
raisin.
Lord, right?
This is a Thor, but yeah.
Doing so well. It's been a long time. It's been almost a year.
Yeah, it's
Scotty.
almost pretty
You're
good.
doing so well.
I'm very proud of you.
Yeah, that
Put
sounds
me on
good.
blast right
So
now.
yeah, we'll figure it out, and we may just do this as a nice little supplement. We'll call. I think I'm really going to call it Space Movie 9,
And I
and
think it's fantastic.
let.
I really love the fakes.
And then if Disney sends me a cease to desist, I will frame it.
That would be awesome.
But if you spell it dual, D-U-E-L, then it's just tying even further into like.
No, what was Spanish for dual? Doy, so
Yeah. Yeah.
a feto.
El Nino.
Last thing I want to talk about is: did you see the Imperial Transport toy?
I did. And I thought immediately, the first thing I did was like, Scotty. I went right to it.
So in 1978, there wasn't a lot of Star Wars toys. Star Wars toys were just coming out, so they came out a year after the movie because no one expected how big the movie was
That's
going
right.
to be.
It's a fascinating story. If you've not watched How Movies or the Toys That Made
Toys
Us,
That Made Us.
watch the Star Wars one. It's absolutely fascinating.
There's a better one on Amazon Prime if you've not seen Plastic Galaxy.
Oh, even better. You're right.
Plastic Galaxy is better,
Yeah.
and another filmmaker. He's a cool dude. There's a lot of licensing deals that Kenner had the main deal to make all the toys, but there's a lot of licensing like exclusives, and one of them went to Sears, and they went for a vehicle that did not exist.
Yep.
And it was this basically a truck looking thing where you could haul stormtroopers in. It was an Imperial troop transport. And me and Drew grew up with this thing, and it had technology on the back, like old school, like it
was a
wasn't
big deal.
It was a big deal where you could press a button and make sounds, and what it was a plastic record on the inside of this thing. So when you press the button, the needle would go to the right spot, and you would hear a laser sound or R2 or whatever,
Yep.
an alarm. It was a very cool toy. Loved the hell out of it.
Oh yeah.
Never made an appearance in the movies at all. Not just never made. It was just
Like it's just in the background.
Right.
Like,
No,
you
no,
know
no,
that's
no.
how they're getting places they need to be, but
Right.
you never see it.
Right,
Yeah,
you
you
never
Not
see
a
it.
never see
visual
it.
background.
Yeah,
Right.
but
Yeah.
like your mental background,
Right.
you just know it's
Right.
there now.
They got to transport these guys somehow.
So in 2013, Dave Filoni puts them in Rebels. So they make animated versions of them in Rebels. And they made a reissued toy that made it look. It was a little streamlined, but it looked like the Rebels artwork. But Hasbro, who owns Kenner now, made a version of that for Rebels. Well, in Mandalorian, they made the first live action version of that.
Right.
And so Hasbro's brought out this live action version of the toy, and it's awesome.
It's absolutely fascinating.
A whole live already pre-ordered.
Did you really?
I did. I pre-ordered. It'll be here
Yeah.
next month. So when we do it, remember how we did that video that we never showed?
The
with
epic unboxing. But now I have the super lens. Then.
Right, so now we can go into it. So that's
Yeah,
so we're
boy.
gonna do a cool unboxing for the
All about it.
I'm all excited. I've been looking for because it holds like 10 stormtroopers. I've been
Yeah.
trying to buy 10
I was
stormtroopers.
like, now you need stormtroopers,
God,
right?
they're so expensive. I
You
got
talking
yeah,
about the little ones?
yeah,
or
well,
the big ones?
3.5. Yeah, oh yeah. So
You can borrow my really, really old one just because it's cool.
yeah,
But he has to be the driver.
I have the Han Solo cereal box one.
I have.
I don't think he'll fit because he's so bulky.
Yeah, that's back when they made them all ripped. They're all John
ripped.
Cena's.
Yeah.
Every single one of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I have an original stormtrooper from the 70s that rides in my car with me because my car is I call it the stormtrooper.
Yeah.
So I've got my little buddy. But
That's brilliant.
He's kind of yellowish now.
Of course.
But he's awesome.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
It's just character.
But he has his own little spot.
He's a little more Mando now. You might
He
say.
has some Bratz dolls.
Oh, some Bratz
Some
stuff.
little LOLs. So if you just need extra
We can
people
set some
to fill
LOLs
seats.
on fire.
I have
would
no idea what that
join
is.
you do that. Like it's
Oh my God, that's
I
the
don't
worst
want
toy
it.
ever
you
made.
don't. It's the stupidest toy, and it's
It's so expensive. See, every parent, same gripe.
It's so expensive, and they're addicted to it, and they open it, and they get these shoes that are like
And they're crap. And the toys are
legit
crap.
this big.
And they're crap made.
Okay, you got to
And then they
describe.
can
It's an
never
audio podcast, so
Yeah, it's-
what is legit
okay.
big then?
They're tiny, folks.
Put it to the microphone.
She actually, I don't know
She
what
just
just
squeezed her
happened.
fingers closed.
to the microphone.
And she looked at the yeah.
To the microphone. It's like, what is that?
I tell you what they are. They're all gumball type junk.
Yes, like
is what they are. They're like
small
gumball junk.
little toys,
And
and
so-
they have accessories that come with
You
them.
guys
But
make
it's,
me so happy. My kids are adults.
Oh, you have no
so
idea.
expensive.
They're so terrible. They're $10 a piece, and
I
it's the
would rather
cheapest
buy
crap.
Hot Wheels.
Cool toys.
I
Like,
think I might
do you
just
guys
start buying
remember
them.
like
Yeah.
the big 12-inch X-Men dolls?
Oh,
and
yeah.
stuff? Yeah, that's what my kids.
Yeah, the
play
big
with.
ones that you can't
It was
lose
awesome.
the pieces to it.
The only
Yeah.
issue I have with the LOLs now, though, is that they have them where they pee.
They have penguins.
Yeah, and the boys now have
A penis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like,
What?
yeah, I was like, I wasn't prepared for that because my kid brought it to me. He was like, "What's this?" And I was like, "It's just a pee hole."
That's just pee hole.
I'm not going into that. She's 3, not doing it.
So Penny
Not
got
ready
one.
for that.
Well,
I was talking
honestly,
to-
you weren't lying.
No, I'm not going to lie to her, but I'm not ready to go down that conversation.
The weird thing about it though is it's quite detailed of a little
Yeah.
penis, but there's no like hoo-ha on the girls.
Okay, I have
No.
to.
So
That's
the
right.
girls are smooth.
Is it
but the boy
strange
has
that
a
I now want to
penis.
Google this? And
Penny
see what
has
this
one.
looks like?
Penny got one for Christmas in
Kinda.
a mystery.
I just don't
What
know
I'm saying
what
though
a
is
toy
I'll send
penis
you a
looks
picture.
like.
I'll send you
It's
a picture.
disturbing.
Because she got just like a random mystery doll and she pulled it out and they couldn't figure out if it was a boy or a girl just because of the way that it was dressed and the hairstyle.
That's good.
And she brought it to me to help dress him, and I was like, that's a boy.
Oh
And
my
we go,
god.
See, that was my thing, though, is why, in today's day and age of, again, respectfully, concerns of gender, why put I just don't need it.
But why do it?
And why is
'cause-
this on a Star Wars show? No idea.
I don't know.
I just
Because
we took a left turn at
Because you
Alderaan.
have Justina and Stephanie on the Star Wars show. This is what happens. Have you heard our podcast?
If you want to hear more, us talk more about
There's a lot of Scotty.
LOL penises, feel free to join us on.
On the Cult Movie Cantina.
which will air Friday or Thursdays. Yeah, that's a good way to end this.
You're welcome.
Where do you go? There's nowhere to go from doll penis.
There's nowhere to go.
I just nowhere.
No.
This is Scotty's.
If you have a stormtrooper that you're no longer using, we could use some. There you go.
We need 12.
I like how you tied it
Well,
back in.
actually 11 because they're going to borrow mine.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's
I want
10,
mine on
but we want
camera.
2 extra.
No, it would be
for
on
fun.
camera.
I think we could. Well, it's got two.
Two drivers.
There's 2 drivers.
Okay, yeah, we need 12.
So,
Mine
but I don't
either.
think they're strong. I think I've got the drivers for those. I think
Mine can't be a driver?
no, because troopers don't drive.
There we can put your guy like coming out,
Okay,
like he's
good.
walking out, so it looks cool.
Yeah.
He'll be badass. We'll take care of him.
This is Scotty saying this is our contribution to the multiverse. Go out and make yours.
May the force be with you.
Bye.
I'm taking JD's place.
I knew you were going to say that.
Okay, now that we're on.
Thank you for listening to the Mopcast Network.